Seattle Seahawks Today is presented by Magic Spoon. It tastes like the cereal that you grew up with, but it's actually healthy for you and not full of sugar. Save $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/Seahawks. And don't worry, we'll put a link in the comments section and in the description to make your lives just a little bit easier on that front. So click it and go get your box today. We're running through all of the latest Seahawks rumors on today's show, and hopefully you get some interesting notes coming out of that, including a potential breakout player who we have not talked about yet on the show. Let's begin with Colby Parkinson and what his future looks like for Seattle, because head coach Pete Carroll is hyping up the young tight end. The fourth-round pick out of Stanford in 2020 didn't really get to play at all last year. He was hurt, missed a lot of time, didn't make a major impact. He will now have to earn snaps this season because Seattle brought in some competition. That is going to be a key thing for Seattle. Now, Pete Carroll is hyping up the young player. That does not, however, mean he's guaranteed to have a big-time breakout. And so Pete Carroll is praising all of his young guys. That certainly makes some sense. Let's get into Pete Carroll's quote then. Quote, Colby is going to be a factor. There's nothing to keep him from being a factor. At 6'7", you know he's got a target that's just obviously unique. He's got great hands. He's a natural catcher. His catching range is as normal as it can be. He can use it all. He gets off the ground well, too, when he has to. He's a really bright player. He's picked stuff up. Now, we did not really see anything out of Colby Parkinson last season. In just 6 games, he caught 2 passes for a grand total of 16 yards. There were other players who were more heavily involved, but some of those guys are gone now. Luke Wilson, who spent some time last year, he's no longer here. Jacob Hollister is also off this team. However, that does not mean Parkinson is in line to even be tight end 2. There is some real competition for the snaps this season at the tight end spot. There's Gerald Everett, the offseason pickup from the Rams, Will Dissly, who when healthy, so he can start at tight end for you, and then Parkinson. And yes, Tyler Mabry, Cam Sutton are also on this roster, but let's be real here. No one really expects those guys to make a major impact in year 1. So I think at minimum, you're ranking Colby Parkinson here as tight end 3 for this team. But I want you guys to get your votes in. Is he 2? Could he be number 1? Are you feeling bold? Get your votes in for me. Rank Colby Parkinson among the Seattle Seahawks tight ends for this season. It's probably 1, 2, or 3, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Gerald Everett, I still think is tight end 1. Pete Carroll's also hyped him up quite a bit. 41 grabs last year for 417 yards, 1 touchdown. Spent a lot of time with fellow tight end Tyler Higbee. I think Everett is the favorite to be the lead tight end. I would be surprised if Parkinson outsnapped Everett. The jump that could come from Parkinson in terms of the depth chart's probably at tight end 2. Now, Will Dissly is a great blocker. When healthy, he's been able to make a pretty good impact in his NFL career. The problem for Dissly has been the health, right? He's been banged up a lot. That has consistently been a problem for him. That has been an issue for quite a while as it relates to Seattle. So if Dissly's healthy, it's going to be tough for Parkinson to jump him. But if Parkinson impresses, there is a role for him, probably in the pass-catching red zone threat, but I think that is a possibility for Seattle. So we'll see in camp in the preseason what the role looks like for Parkinson entering what could almost be counted as his first true year as a member of the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks Today video is presented by Magic Spoon, and I have not had a chance to eat lunch yet. So as I attempt to work off some of the dad bod I've got here, I'm going to have a couple bites of the fruity cereal you see on screen right now from Magic Spoon, because it's delicious and it's good for me, and that's a very rare combo in today's modern age. Now, you can get $5 off your first order as well at magicspoon.com/Seahawks. That URL will be in the comment section and in the description. Now, it tastes like the sugary cereal that we grew up with, the tasty ones that, as it turns out, wasn't actually very healthy for us. But this version from Magic Spoon actually is. 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, and 0 sugar, which blows my mind. If you had told me before I knew anything about Magic Spoon, hey, try this cereal, how much sugar do you think is in there? I'd say the normal amount. It tastes very sugary. There's no sugar in there. It's high in protein, it's low carb, and it's sweet and delicious, just like the cereal you remember, only it's better because it's good for you. Get $5 off your first order. You can get the box or maybe 4 of them at magicspoon.com/Seahawks. Let's talk trade now. Could Seattle attempt to deal Rashaad Penny? Bleacher Report put out an article, one player from each NFL team that could be traded or should be traded. And they went with Rashaad Penny, and it does make some sense. The team has declined his fifth-year option. They've brought back Chris Carson. The starting role is seemingly never going to be a thing for Penny in Seattle unless Carson gets hurt again, which, could happen. Now, on the flip side, Seattle would be selling low on Penny. They would not get much back in return. I think you're talking maybe a late day 3 pick, but you would save almost $2 million in cap space. That is some sizable savings for Seattle. The guy we saw in 2020 coming back from an injury that was pretty significant was not impactful. I don't want to say bad. It's too small of a sample size to say Rashaad Penny was bad. But he wasn't an impact player at all. He was not the guy Seattle, what many thought at the time, reached on in round 1. For his career, Penny has shown explosion. There have been glimpses, flashes, promise, all of that of, hey, maybe Rashaad Penny can be a key cog for you on this offense. But in the 3 years, 161 carries. That's it. That's not great career production, even though he has missed some significant time. So a trade for Rashaad Penny, again, I don't think it fetches you very much in return. I don't think you get a significant haul back. But I am curious what you guys think. What draft pick do you believe Rashaad Penny is worth? Now, you're not getting a first. You're not getting a third. I'd be pretty stunned if you got a fourth. Frankly, it might be a day 3 pick swap. But let me know what you guys think right now in the comments section. If Seattle were to move Rashaad Penny in a trade, not only would you free up salary cap space, you would also help crystallize some of the roles on this roster. Now, right now, Seattle's got 6 running backs on this roster. You can throw in, if you want to, some of the UDFAs, but I'm going to leave off Johnson, for example. Carson, Penny, I guess, are the top 2 right now. But DJ Dallas, Alex Collins, Travis Homer all spent time on game day. They played last year for Seattle in part due to injuries. You move on from Rashaad Penny. I think DJ Dallas pretty clearly, or maybe it's Travis Homer, we'll get into in a second here, ends up becoming the number 2 back in terms of third down roles. DJ Dallas can catch the ball. He was a part-time receiver at points for the Miami Hurricanes. So you move Rashaad Penny, DJ Dallas becomes your third down receiver. Alex Collins then has a more defined role. If Carson and Penny are both on this team, Alex Collins' role is a bit murky because he's not great on third downs, but he can be a 15-touch guy for you as a more typical running back. So if Collins is going to make this team, it would probably be in direct conflict with the role for Rashaad Penny. You might not be able to keep both of those guys. It also opens up room for Travis Homer, special teams value, third down blocking as well. But Penny can do a little bit of everything. He'd probably be over all 3 of those guys if he's actually healthy. Because of that, if you want to find a way to keep Homer, Dallas, and Alex Collins on this roster, that makes things a little bit trickier. And at that point, you might want to try, if you can, find a partner in a trade for Rashaad Penny. If you guys want more Seahawks videos, simply hit that big red button and subscribe today. We got videos coming out almost every single day for you guys on everything going on around the Seattle Seahawks. So if you want more, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's discuss now Alex Okafor. Now, FanSided recently pitched the idea that the Seahawks should go out and sign Alex Okafor. He's unsigned right now in free agency. I actually don't think that makes the most sense for this team. I think what's a little bit more likely is they pass on adding a free agent edge rusher in the mold of Alex Okafor. And for a couple reasons, the biggest of which is that they have addressed the pass rush spot. They've got options right now on that roster. So FanSided named a player for every team, and they picked different players. That makes it tough. I think going with Okafor, though, was a bit of a mistake for Seattle. I think there were better options out there for them. So what I want you guys to do right now is let me know in the comments section what player you guys want to sign. Is it Alex Okafor? Is it Richard Sherman, KJ Wright, one of those constant names we see mentioned here? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. The other big reason why I'm pretty whatever on Alex Okafor is this. He wasn't good. 2020, yes, he got 3 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, but Alex Okafor hasn't been an impact player. If he's your number 4 or maybe number 3 edge, okay, I think that could make some sense for you. Here's the problem if you're Seattle. They've already got those guys on the team. Carlos Dunlap is back. He's edge number 1. Benson Mayowa, Kerry Hyder are going to play critical roles for this team as defensive ends 2, 3, whatever order you want to put them in. You've also got other guys there. Darrell Taylor, Alton Robinson, younger players who I want to see what they can offer. LJ Collier, Rasheem Green might end up playing some, defensive tackle hybrid roles, but all those guys, I think, at least offer the potential of being more than what we could get out of Alex Okafor, or what the Seahawks could have out of Alex Okafor. Maybe Alton Smith makes the team. So the depth at edge is actually in a really good spot. Because of that, I don't really see the need or desire to go sign Alex Okafor. Now, if injury happens, okay, we can revisit. But for now, I think Seattle's just fine. The Seattle Seahawks Today video is presented by Magic Spoon, and I have not had a chance to eat lunch yet. So as I attempt to work off some of the dad bod I've got here, I'm going to have a couple bites of the fruity cereal you see on screen right now from Magic Spoon, because it's delicious and it's good for me, and that's a very rare combo in today's modern age. Now, you can get $5 off your first order as well at magicspoon.com/Seahawks. That URL will be in the comment section and in the description. Now, it tastes like the sugary cereal that we grew up with, the tasty ones that, as it turns out, wasn't actually very healthy for us. But this version from Magic Spoon actually is. 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, and 0 sugar, which blows my mind. If you had told me before I knew anything about Magic Spoon, hey, try this cereal, how much sugar do you think is in there? I'd say the normal amount. It tastes very sugary. There's no sugar in there. It's high in protein, it's low carb, and it's sweet and delicious, just like the cereal you remember, only it's better because it's good for you. Get $5 off your first order. You can get the box or maybe 4 of them at magicspoon.com/Seahawks.